Hello everyone, exeter-rider. Thanks for joining me once again. I just sent back the new scooter today, and it's my first ride on the NC again. So back to the old engine noise, which is lovely to hear, I can assure you. And that's not saying electric is any different. Well, it is just different, that's all it is. It's nice to have a quiet, and it's nice to have a bit of engine noise, so there's no it's not a case of what's better there, because I like them both. But I must admit, it's nice to get on a big bike again. I mean, sat on this thing again compared to the new scooter, it's like being sat in an RT again. Lovely, I love this bike, I love it. I can't see me getting rid of this. But I have recently had a bit of a thirst for an electric bike, or a low capacity bike, something that's a little bit lighter and easier to ride around town and just do city commuting. And that's going to be nice when that's finished. Yeah, and I see that in 2021 they got some nice bikes coming out. They got new NC 850 coming out, apparently. It's all a bit Chinese whispers at the moment, isn't it? Nothing in stone there. But that's certainly, that's going to be a nice bike, I have no doubt about it. I just hope really that they're going to get the price point right on that one. I'd imagine it's still going to be sub 10k, I would certainly hope so anyway. But obviously, as with all these things, time progresses and things do creep up in price. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that and certainly having a ride. And what else have we got next year? Oh, the little Grom. The Grom has finally had its a proper makeover. So there's been two types of Grom at the moment. You've had the Mark 1, which is what I had, and I loved my little Grom, I really did. But a typical Honda, the seat was blimmin' awful, so uncomfortable, and it's also a little bit short on the gears. Yeah, so they've changed the Grom quite a lot on this new phase 3 of it. So they've gone back to the little round headlight, or oval headlight, which I quite liked, and my particular one was had a few mods on it as well. So it'll be the third reincarnation of the Grom that's coming along this time, and the Mark 1 was the best one, I think, so far, because it had that nice little oval light, and it just looks a bit more funky and cool. Whereas the Mark 2 version, I think they totally lost the plot with that, if I'm honest with you, because it had that LED light, sort of with a little slanted sort of headlight, and they didn't really change a lot else. But on the new Mark 3, I mean, have a look at this. It's I like it. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, as with any bike. Let's just pull out of here. I'm going to sneak out and then gun it. Thank you. But I quite like the look of that. I think it looks really cool. And the one thing that put me off my Grom was a number of things, really. First of all, it was very short geared, and when he was at 60, he was in 4th gear, only had 4 gears, and he was absolutely screaming the engine, and it would vibrate quite a lot. Next thing was the seat, and the seat was blimmin' awful, it really was, the stock one. So I had that changed, and it was only an improvement. It's still blimmin' uncomfortable. But this new one, it looks like the seat. Actually, let's go back onto the Mark II seat as well. Actually, the Mark II seat shoved you right up against the tank, and you couldn't move around on it. It did feel like a little toy bike rather than a cool little mini bike. When I say mini bike, they weren't really mini bikes, you know, it's not like a monkey bike, they're not that small. I think they're just right, really. And yeah, so the Mark III version, they seem to have done made the seat a lot different on it. Seems to be a bit flatter, and looks like you can move around a bit on it and move to the rear of the bike as well. without having the seat step on there. So that looks good, and also they're going to add a gear as well, so it's going to be a 5-speed. And when I test rode the Benelli, that's one thing which really shone on that bike compared to the Grom, was that it did have that 5th gear. Yes, it didn't have a lot of power in it, it was a little bit the opposite really, it was probably too highly ratioed. Where's that coming from? There you go. So that was a bit different there. It was too highly ratioed to TNT, a little bit I would say, if anything. But I'd still rather have that high ratio 5th gear than a 4th gear that's screaming at you all the time. So that's a nice little touch, adding the 5th gear. The bore is going to be different as well, and the stroke, so it's going to sound different. And it sounded pretty good before, to be honest with you. But that's going to be a welcome addition. So that off the top of my head, that's just the main changes. They've kept the old screen, the old dash on it, which is, you know, it does its thing, does what it does, and it's okay. It's just an LCD screen, but again, it keeps the price point low, and that's what we want. That's an important bonus there. But it does come with a gear indicator, which I would say it probably needed before, and it's definitely going to be needed with the 5th gear added to it. And be interesting to know what it actually rides like. By the looks of it, I think the engine is exactly the same. It's got the built-in ABS this time, because before the ABS was just like a bolt-on thing. It looked pretty awful, whereas now it's sort of integrated in the IMU, so it will look much better, much neater down to the brakes. But the gearbox was always very sloppy, I think I would call it, and by the looks of it, they haven't changed certainly the cylinder head and things like that. Whether they changed the actual gearbox or whatever, I don't know, but I think they needed to do that really, because it really was quite sloppy and there was a lot of false neutrals going on with it. But I think they are lovely, cool little bikes, and it'd be interesting to see how much they're going to be charging for a new one. And I must admit, I would be quite tempted, because I do like those. I love my little Grom, but like I say, it was geared too low, and I needed that 5th gear, and the seat was blimmin' awful. So if they kind of nailed that, it looks like Honda are listening to people, to me. Seems a lot of their bikes now are getting better seats, and they need to, because like my NC here, I mean, obviously I've done my seat mod myself on that, and I wouldn't change that. You know, I got a lot of grief for doing my seat mod. You know, people saying, "Oh, that's awful, it's this, that and the other." Oh well, don't do it then. I don't care. Oh, shiny side up. Good company, that. They do all the ceramic coatings and things like that. They're very meticulous in what they do. I'm definitely going to get a test ride on one when the new one comes out. And I might, well, I say I'm tempted to buy one. I am tempted to buy one, because like I say, I am on the market for a smaller bike, but I'm trying to make that switch to electric, but nothing has caught me enough yet. That's under 10 grand. Although I must admit, the Zero FXS, if I tried one of them, I might be very tempted. Yeah, so the Grom looks great. The NC850, apparently it's going to be an 850, it's all Chinese whispers. But that's going to no doubt be a very interesting bike. But is it going to be good enough for me to get rid of my 750? I don't think so. I don't think so. I am very attached to this bike, and we've all had those bikes, haven't we, that we get really, really attached to, and I loved all my bikes. My CB300, I loved that bike, but it was just, again, it was the gears which really annoyed me. I was in 5th or 6th gear by the time I hit 30, and that was just really frustrating, going up 6 gears just to get to a comfortable 30. So that really irritated me. If they sorted that out, I probably would have kept it, and maybe the seat again was a bit of an issue. But yeah, I just don't think I can get rid of this one. It would take quite a lot to prise me away from this bike. But never say never. You never know. I might try the NC850 and love it. But my prediction is actually that the way that Honda normally work is, I reckon we might, and again, this is just my opinion, I could be totally wrong here, but I reckon we might see the new Grom around March time, maybe slightly later due to what's been going on, and I don't think we'll see the NC till mid next year, probably November next year, I reckon. But that's only, I'm just, you know, running that off of when Honda have brought out other bikes for the last sort of 2-3 years or so. And years ago it was just a case of they brought out a bike, you know, sort of once a year, you know, just change the whole range all at once, whereas now they seem to stagger it a bit more. But yeah, lots to look forward to. And you got the new Triumph as well, the Trident. That looks pretty nice. We've got nothing from Royal Enfield yet. I'm eager to know what they're going to be bringing out, if they bring out anything. And I always wonder about the old Enfields. I know they're thinking about the Himalayan 650, which would be an interesting bike. I think the 400 was had its own niche, you know. Taking it to 650, are they going to be able to pull that off? If they put an Interceptor engine in the Himalayan, I don't know. I don't know about that. It just seemed two different things to me. A Interceptor engine and a Himalayan bike, or Himalayan, should I say? That's the proper word for it, isn't it? But us Brits tend to go with the Himalayan, so I'll stick with the Himalayan. Yeah, so that should be interesting. Benelli are bringing out a TRK 752, are they? Or 800 or something like that. I still haven't tried the 500 yet. I am gagging still to get on the 500 or the 502 TRK, and every time I go and get it, it's either out on loan or something happened with it, or I just never can seem to get my hands on it, and at the moment I don't have time to ride one. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to anything that Benelli and they're bringing out. Oh, another good one is the BMW 310 GS. That's had a makeover, so it's going to have a new LED light, which was needed. Apparently it's not going to wobble so much as well. That's one of the complaints that owners had, was that the headlight would wobble. Never really caused me any issue. It was wobbling for a reason. I think some people think it was broke, but actually it's just on rubber mounts. So if you're doing any off-roading, it just gave it a bit of movement there. But yeah, that new 310, the new paint scheme looks fantastic. Really looking forward to seeing that one. I'll have a go on that one, I expect. Again. Yeah, so no doubt there'll be a couple things from BMW. And also I hear they're bringing out a 310RR, which should be interesting. And they definitely need it, actually. I said that on my reviews, that the 310 range, whether it's the R or the GS, that it did need an update. It was lagging behind the times, for sure. And no doubt there's a few other things that are changing with it as well. Yeah, so that was just an off the hoof dinner break video. Just what I'm looking forward to coming up. I'm sure I've forgotten loads of stuff, you know. But I just woke up, went on the computer, and I saw that the Grom was new Grom has come in, and so it just got me thinking really about the Grom and the NC750. The CB650R, that's having an upgrade. Nothing major, I don't think. But yeah, no, interesting times. Yeah, it should be some good stuff in 2021. I'm looking forward to it. I said that about this year and it went a little bit Pete Tong, but I still had a brilliant year. Loved it, all things considered. Anyway, that's the one I'm just going to leave it there. I could go on for a lot more, actually, some other bikes that are coming out which I want to talk about, but we'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourself. Cheers.